Previously on the AMU.
Listen, I need your take on this one, guys. I really do, because the internet is one funny place. I gotta tell you, it's not reality, you know, it's like virtual reality bullshit. I paid like $2 million to fight me. You can't just think I'm gonna fight you for some no name. And then later the haters are gonna be like, yeah, you beat him up because he's a nobody. He's a nobody, bro. He's nobody. Well, of course you beat him up. Who is he? And for a long time, blah, 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 blah. And that's the haters, you know? Listen.
Welcome back to the Bubba YouTube channel.
This is Control Your Narrative, where we're focused on controlling our narrative. In today's video, we're gonna go over John Bravo films from Bubba's reaction. Okay, in this video, we're gonna go through John Bravo's findings of what he found after King Azoulay's response video. And he's gonna bring up some stuff that maybe King Azoulay was trying to hide and thought no one would find, but this is John Bravo, and this is Bubba's reaction as well. So let's let Bubba take us into flow state.
In the flow state together, and let's get this show on the road.
To present to you something that I didn't do.
First, we gotta take a look at his bullshit response. Because he was putting up stories on Instagram and on YouTube, trailers like this is a fucking movie. I mean, we know how much he wants to be a fucking movie star. But this is not the time to bullshit around, right? So he put up all these bullshit things trying to get people to tune in to his bullshit response. Andrew Tate, soccer players, other famous people, because this asshole thinks he's famous, right? So he's trying to compare when those people got accused and it was just a money grab, right? He's trying to say it's the same shit with him.
In the United States, there's a saying: if you're not smart enough like a Jew to make your own money, better learn how to sue one. I mean, you clearly know the stories about Andrew Tate.
It's really odd because Ben Azoulay is always talking shit on Andrew Tate, right? He just can't get that earthy chorizo out of his boca, right? This guy's the biggest payaso in the alpha game, and he's absolutely delusional. John Bravo's right that it's kind of funny that he's trying to put himself in the same circles of Cristiano Ronaldo. Like, what in the hell? This guy is so delusional. You just buy 500,000 followers and you think you're Cristiano Ronaldo. I mean, oh my god, let's continue on with this bullshit.
What he says happened that day. And of course, he changes the story completely, like the fairy tale bullshit life he's living, lying off his ass.
18 years old, throwing a birthday party at my house. A group of girls show up, and one of the girls was the girl that I liked. That girl was hanging out with me the whole evening. That girl even spent the night. That is not the girl who said that she was. When we wake up in the morning, I hear cops knocking on my door saying you're accused of. They arrest me, and they arrest my 14-year-old brother. The girl who was a friend of the girl that was hanging out with me. When she left our house and said bye to everybody, she then came back with a case accusing that me, my brother, and another young man raped her.
So then he starts going into more details of what he is saying happened that night. He's saying him and his brother, they weren't interested in that girl. They didn't want to fuck her, right? But their friend wanted to fuck her. And he wanted to go in the house, but Ben said, no, if you want to fuck her, you fuck her, but it's got to be out here on the couch, and we're all going to watch like a bunch of...
King Azoulay tries to lie, but when he does, he ends up telling that he did another crime, watching a minor getting it on. So, although he's lying about not being the one who R.A.P.E. a minor, he still is getting himself in trouble by saying he watched a minor. So, what we can learn from this douchebag is sometimes we need to be honest because our lies will not be believable. No one believes the lies of King Azoulay because he lies too much. The only one that believes him are probably his wife, his friends if he has any, his parents maybe, but no one starts to like liars. A lot of people say, I don't like liars, whether it's men or women, but King Azoulay is constantly lying. That's why no one believes him and they just see him as an alpha clown. I call him alpha loser, but that's beside the point. So, we need to not lie so much, or not lie at all. Be honest with people so they wouldn't have to find stuff on us from our past. Be honest about your past.
You see, she said that she was a freshman in college. She had a few drinks. We all had some drinks. Everybody was fine. Everybody was cool. Nothing like that ever happened. She then went to my brother and tried to get with him. My brother didn't want to, but at the same time, this girl was very adamant about getting somebody to hook up with her. So we're hanging in the backyard, and she sits next to one of the young men who was 17 years old and asked him, will you sleep with me? And I told him, you guys cannot go in my house. If you want, you guys can do it here.
So let me get this straight. Ben Azoulay is trying to claim that the person who filed the lawsuit against him, he didn't even have anything to do with her. That wasn't the woman that he was trying to get with. Rather, it was someone else, a friend of his friend. This is the thing I don't understand, y'all. And maybe I'm putting way too much thought to this because I'm a reasonable human being. But why would you admit to something you didn't do? Why would you admit to guilt in the court of law? If something happened to you that didn't happen, you would fight tooth and nail to prove you're innocent. Even if you were convicted guilty of something, but you fought tooth and nail to the bitter end, that's gonna look at least way better than someone just 100% admitting to guilt. That's the thing that Ben Azoulay doesn't understand, is that everybody can access the court record. We're not gonna get fooled. I don't understand why this guy says, oh, I only did it to save my family. They were suing me for $50 million. It doesn't work like that. Just total bullshit.
Said they don't want to deal with a troubled child because she used to like going out and she used to like dating guys. And I guess later on we found out that she was a troubled child.
But if you look here at the medical report part of it, right? The reason why she didn't show up to court is because she couldn't stand seeing your face again in person, you and your brother and fucking asshole friend. Because she couldn't sleep the nights. As it is, she couldn't stand to see your fucking faces again. Now this civil case seems like it was settled out of court, like my lawyer explained, which is why it's hard for us to see the actual outcome.
We see they had a confidential settlement, which is the most likely outcome, because we then see that this dipshit attempted to sue the homeowner's insurance of the house in which the assault occurred in. So likely what happened is that they settled for an undisclosed amount, and then he attempted to sue, again, the homeowner's insurance of the home in which this assault occurred.
You know, I've never seen John Bravo so upset while covering a story.
If you like this video, then give it a thumbs up. Subscribe and leave a comment and let me know if you think King Azoulay is innocent of these crimes that are brought out on him by public legal records? Or do you think he's guilty like everyone else that believes he's guilty? Just let me know, and either way, that is your opinion, so don't feel bad if you do one or the other. So, everybody, let's continue on with the video.
$50 million, right? It's complete bullshit. And how you know this is because the parents, after they did this settlement, they went over to their house policy and tried to claim the amount of money so they didn't have to pay out of pocket. And if you look at the house policy, it was less than $1 million. Because they went after the insurance company to make that claim, that's the reason why we can see what happened in that civil case. Because if it was settled, these files wouldn't be accessible, right? These records. But because The insurance company in turn went back and tried to take Ben and his parents to court. These files were included in that document, which is why we're able to see this all. So this asshole and his family thought none of this was ever going to be seen because they settled, right? But because the insurance company went after them, we can see all this shit.
Yikes, man. Ben Azoulay's civil lawsuit, $50 million story just completely fell apart. It took this guy about 1 week to make a horrible, horrible response that was littered with holes. I mean, y'all, just keep staying on his neck and the word's gonna keep getting out. You know, in a way, it's a civic duty. The Wes Watsons of the world, the Vincent Fishers of the world, the other alpha lanes we've covered, they're nowhere near as bad as Ben Azoulay. So please be sure, my bad, I messed up. Please be sure to hit that like button and do what you can. Spread the word of mouth everywhere because this shit is ridiculous.
Now, this is where it gets even worse because I was going over those 140 pages of documents again, and it's a civil case. The parents were getting sued, right? There was a passage that says this asshole, Ben, and his brother, not only did this to this 15-year-old girl, right? They did this to other underage girls and got them drunk and took advantage of them, and that the parents should have known about this and they should have never allowed what happened that night. Premises liability against defendants David Azoulay and Rachel Azoulay. This is their parents, okay, saying that they're responsible for what happened in their house. Now, this is the important part. H is informed and believes, and on this basis alleges that defendants David and Rachel Azoulay knew or should have known that defendant Ben Azoulay had been previously charged with criminal acts, knew or should have known that alcohol had been and continued to be consumed by minors on their property, including Ben and Dylan Azoulay, and knew or should have known that defendants Ben and Dylan Azoulay had previously had intercourse with underage and or intoxicated girls. So this is saying that they had priors to all of this, and the parents should have known. It was foreseeable to defendants David and Rachel Azoulay that defendants Ben and Dylan Azoulay would have had sexual intercourse with and performed acts of oral relation on underage girls if they continue to allow alcohol to be consumed by minors, including defendants Ben and Dylan Azoulay and Mayor Vareed on their property. So it looks like this piece of shit and his brother had a history as kids of doing this shit.
The Bible says that whatever's done in the dark will be made known in the light. And that's what happened here. King Azoulay thought all this stuff wouldn't be brought out. But there's always going to be someone that investigates your stories, especially when they sound so far-fetched that you think that no one is going to question you. But if your stories are questionable and your lies are questionable, then people are going to do an investigation. There are a lot of people that do that even in their relationships. And when they find someone's lies, they distrust them. So what we can take from this is that we can't be like King Azoulay or his parents, which they let this thing go on. It says that King Azoulay's been doing this for a while with different girls. And John Bravo brought it out. And now everybody knows. So we need to be our best and be not a liar. Because people are not going to believe us. They're not going to trust us. They're not going to have respect for us. So we got to be our very best and be the best version of ourselves. So I'm not getting mad at you. I'm just very fired up from this whole video of King Azoulay doing this whole sex or rape of a minor, which is gross, and I don't want things like this happening to kids from adults. But yes, it is very gross and disgusting. But we can all do better. We can all grow and get better, guys. So I hope we learned something from this situation. Become the best version of yourselves every day. Be the best version of yourselves. And keep on, because only you can control your narrative. And check out John Bravo and Bubba's channel. You can watch this video if you want to watch its entirety. And I'll list both their video titles in the description. But check them out. Tell them the Frugal Cyborg sent you. And everybody, stay awesome.
As I showed you in my last video, looks like he continued this in his life because he did it to girls as they were an adult, because they shared their stories with me. He says in his video, right, that his partners now and the other girls in his life, he told them this story, right, and they were cool with it.
See, when I shared with friends, or when I shared it with ex-girlfriends, or when I shared it with my wife, the reaction was, things happen. It's life. Things happen. It's life. And every single woman that I have dated, I literally made sure that she knows of this story and made sure that she lets me feel comfortable.
It's life? That's seriously the response? You know, sometimes people say, Bubba, why do you bring up Queen Azoulay like she didn't do anything? Hell no, fuck that noise, bro. They enable this type of behavior. That fucking hag is also part of this grift. That's why I also drag her. This shit is insane, y'all.
Watching Dubs made a great response right after this happened. And he said something that triggered my mind. He said that Ben, the piece of shit, right, and his brother and the other asshole, victimized this girl and took away so much of her life when she was just 15 years old. And now, 20 years later, with his bullshit up response, he has fucking nerve, like a monster, to do this to her again.
That's amazing. To make a video like that? Wow. Zero shame. None whatsoever. A 15-year-old girl was victimized. What is it? What is she now, 35? Around 35 years old, and you're